forgot to bring my sausages for this thing so I can light this. I can't see the people in the back so much. Usually I love to have eye contact. Perfect. Turn the lights on. I wanna see who it is I'm talking to all the time. How many people would like to have more wealth in your life? Just raise your hands. More. How many people would like to have more love? Raise your hands. And how many people would like to have more satisfaction in your life? Raise your hands. Great, fantastic. I noticed something when I was sitting up in the front here, as you were listening to the speakers. I noticed that most of you looked very sad. You looked like this. And I was wondering what the reason was for that. And so I'm going to check right now. How many people here are married? Raise your hands. That could be the reason. How many people are single? Raise your hands. Okay, so these are the only smiling ones. Okay, now I understand. I'm just kidding. You see, the point is a lot of people don't realize that when there is a movie like The Secret that comes out and gives you a message, and the message is, think positive, positive things happen. That's total bullshit. So what I did when I sat down, see, Bob Proctor and I shared the stage a lot in the United States. I live in Chicago, but I also have a home in Singapore, and I also have a home in Bulgaria. Why Bulgaria? Because nobody ever comes to visit me. Where is Mel right now? He's in Bulgaria. Oh, okay. When's he back? Nobody ever goes there to see him. So it gives me time to sit down and write a book. Now, yes, I didn't write 500 books here, 157 so far. My aim is 500, eventually before I die. What I wanted to talk to you today is very important. It has to do with relationships with yourself, which my friend Daniel talked about. If you can cure all of the pain from the past, would that be a good thing to have? Like, forget everyone that hurt you. How many people would like that? To forget all the pain that comes with everybody that took money from you, stole from you, destroyed you in some way. How would you like to forget all that? You will remember the event, but you won't have the emotion. Would that be useful? Okay. So today I wanted to cover a little bit of work on the inside, but let me talk about the outside work a little bit, because that's the important part. How are you thinking? Because for associates to stay together, you need to make sure that they are mentally okay. There's a hospital here, I heard. It's called, was it Fort Ray, or how do you? Fort Worth, yeah? This hospital had a psychologist come in one day, much like me, and he decided to pick 3 people because he believed that the only way you can become less mentally ill is if you assimilate in the world. So he was going to let these guys go. So he said to the first one, if you can answer this question, I will let you go. What is 3 times 3? The fellow looked at the doctor and said, Thursday. Sorry, wrong answer, go back to your room. So he asked the second woman, what is 3 times 3? If you can answer this, I will let you go. The woman scratched her head and said, 164. Sorry, wrong answer, go back to your room. So he asked the final person, young man, if you can answer this question, I will let you go. What is 3 times 3? The young man looked at the other 2, he smiled, and he looked at the doctor and he said, 9. The doctor said, here, take the release papers, and he was running to the door. And before he reached the door, the doctor said, young man, how is it, I just want to know one thing, how is it that your 2 friends couldn't come up with the right answer and you did? He said, doctor, it's so simple. I multiplied Thursday by 164 and I got 9. So sometimes we make decisions, and the correct decisions, but by accident, not with a thinking process. You know, we have all the rules in front of us, the pros, the cons, what to do, what not to do, benefits and costs and so on. We have all these analyses in front of us, strengths and weaknesses and everything else. And yet, ultimately, we make a decision based on what? Our gut instinct. That's how you found your wives who are making you very happy, and your husbands who are making you very happy. Of course, I'm not being serious when I say that, but obviously you are very happy individuals who are married, right? People who are happily married, raise your hands. Those who are happily married usually go like this. Those who are not so happily married go like this. Those who are thinking twice about it try to go like this. Happily married people, let me see your hands one more time. Oh, okay. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot. How many of you are here with your spouses? Okay, it's not a real survey. If you are smart, raise your hands quickly, because it's going to work. The difficulty comes when you start to realize that the thinking process has got to be clear, and you have got to be clear. As a psychologist, I've dealt with a lot of companies and a lot of people, CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies. My brother runs a multi-billion-dollar company called the CME Group. I don't know if you know that. The Chicago Mercantile Exchange. You see, he's retired now because he had a blood pressure of 200/90. I mean, he was a pimple waiting to explode. Talking about pimple then. He was, and he had to calm down. Now he and I are building a company that's probably going to be worth $500 million in the next little while. It's a new experience for me because I'm the sort of person that you tell that joke about. There's a friend of mine in Australia who got married, and he said, when I met my wife, I became a millionaire. So I asked him, what were you before you met your wife? He said, a multi-millionaire. So it's a different story altogether. So I want to pay attention to the thinking, because the thinking process is the most important. If you want to have good partnerships, both of you have got to be thinking very clearly. 95% of the world's population, psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, counselors, mental health professionals agree that 95% of the world's population suffers from one kind of mental illness or another. 95%. You don't know if you might be sitting next to somebody like that. You won't find them until you get married to them, most of the time. But here's the thing that's important. When you pay attention to little things like this, you got to be also aware that statistics are in Brussels, 1 out of 4 people are not mentally sound. Now, I want you to form an image of 3 of your best friends. Form an image. If they are all okay, then you're the one. But seriously, that's just a joke. But you never really know. What if you have a partner in business who's not mentally sound? What if they're not clear about what their life is going to be? What if they're not clear? What if they don't react well? What if there are so many things happening inside that eventually is going to affect your business in a big way? Self-esteem. Let's check with the first thing that you need to have. How high is your self-esteem? Now, 10 is where my hand is up here. 0 is down here, near dead. Now, as I go down, I want you to raise your hands. Shall I go up or go down? Up. All the women said up. I don't know why. All the men said down. All right? 1, 2, 3, self-esteem levels. 4, 5 is midway point. 6, 7, 8. Wow. 9, 10, 11. You see, when you give out more than 4 compliments, your life will change. We are told that we have children and that we should compliment our children. Even if they draw things that we have no sense, big circles, and say, this is mommy, this is daddy, we put it on the fridge and we say, you are a brilliant artist. You're going to be Picasso one day. And in fact, Picasso draws exactly like you, but that's okay. The point is, he makes a lot of money, and that's amazing. And so we give them compliments, but then we forget that people are hungry for compliments. You see, the thing is, everybody is looking for the 3 A's in life. If you want everyone to love you, you need to have acceptance, approval, and appreciation. Everybody needs an acceptance of themselves, that they are okay, that there's nothing wrong with them. Approval. They need your approval. Everybody does. This is how the world is designed. This is how your mind is designed. You're looking for approval all the time. Your employees are looking for approval. Your partner is looking for approval. Not just your business partner, but your partner that you married. How many of you married your partner to be happy or happier? Keep your hands up. How many of you are happy you made that decision? If your wife is with you, keep it up. Or husband is with you. You see, the point is, we go into relationships and everything else being very selfish. And so there's a certain amount of emotional maturity you must look for before you get a business partner. Is your business partner emotionally mature? Yeah, they may be tall, big men and women. They may have gone through a lot of experiences, but are they emotionally mature to handle relationship problems? How many of you who are married or in relationships love your partner unconditionally? Well, your hands went up very fast. May I do a little check? That's a question. Would you mind if I do a little check? Okay. I want to check your emotional maturity to see if you can love your partners unconditionally, because this will flow into the business at the same time. So let's find out. How many of you, imagine you're all single right now, and a gorgeous man or a gorgeous woman comes into your life right now, and you are going to experience the love of stars. The stuff you see on television, the stuff you see in movies where the lovers move into the twilight. And your heart aches. Every time you go to work, your chest starts to ache because your heart is trying to pump out of it because you cannot wait to go home to meet this lover. That's the kind of love you're going to experience. How many people would like to experience that love and go into that relationship with that man or woman, knowing that 6 months from now, that man or that woman is going to die suddenly? You know it's going to happen, but wow, these are emotionally, raise your hands, raise your hands, raise your hands. I am moved emotionally. Keep your hands up. Those of you, how many of you would go into that relationship knowing that that man or woman is going to love somebody else? 6 months, not so many hands. So help me understand your thinking, just to double check. Are you saying that you would rather your lover die than be happy? Is that what you were saying? You see, there's so much bullshit about unconditional love. I have good news and bad news for you, those of you who are lovers, who are people who can love. The direction of love is from the inside out. That's the only direction. If it comes from the outside, it's a gift that people give you. But if you need it, I gave so much love. And for all these years, I give and I give and I give, and I got nothing back in return. I'm leaving the relationship. Wait a minute, is that love? That's not love at all. Love is giving. You come into someone's life because you know you can make their life better. You know that between the both of you, you're going to grow each other up. You're going to learn lessons that are tough. And those are very tough lessons. So even if you leave that man or that woman you hate, that you call wife or husband or lover or friend, or somebody else's wife or husband, whatever, I'm not here to judge. But if you are in that relationship, trust me, the next one is going to be just as bad, because you carry the problem with you all the time. So, again, think about it. Those of you who are going home to your spouses, go home. I give you some advice. Say to your spouse, honey, darling, sweetheart, love of my life, it's been so long since I told you I loved you. It's been so long since I told you thank you for marrying me and putting up with me and all of this. The difficulty comes when you don't realize this. Once upon a time, there was an old man who won a lottery in Chicago. This man won $800 million. Now, he had no wife, no child, no family, no next of kin. But he lived on a street where there were 10 families living on one side and 10 families living on the other side. So he decided to give $1,000 to each one because you cannot spend that much money in one lifetime. So he knocked on the first door and said, here's $1,000. And the people were suspicious at first. He said, what's the catch? No catch. I won the lottery. I have no one to give it to. I want to give it to you. Oh, okay. So they accepted it. So he gave it to every house on the left and every house on the left, on the right. And he continued this for about 2 years. And then pretty soon what happened was the people started to budget. The family started to budget. Let's see, the wife is earning about $700. The husband is earning $1,002, the inequality of wages and all of that. And then we have stocks that are earning some amount of money, and the old man's $1,000. I think we have enough for this month, and we're good. And so everybody budgeted around that whole thing. Then the old man made a visit to Brussels. It was such a beautiful place, and he loved chocolate. And he went down to the chocolate house. We were at Whittimer yesterday, and he decided he'll buy that. And he wants to stay here in Brussels. So he started to move here, lock, stock, and barrel. So in moving over here from Chicago, he forgot to give money in that 1 month that was coming up. And everybody was going, wait a minute, where's the old man's money? He didn't knock on the door. What's wrong with him? He must be sick. The next month came by, and the old man was already in Brussels, and the people were now very upset. They were screaming their heads off. They were saying, where is my money? And they were screaming at the old man. They got sticks and stones, and they were about to break the door down, not realizing that that old man was giving a gift. When someone loves you, it's a gift. It's not something a piece of paper says you deserve. It's a gift, isn't it? So if someone loves you, don't take that gift for granted, because that love is amazing, and you may not experience something similar. Yeah, you'll have a lot of fights along the way, but that's okay. Trust me, a therapist who's done 35 years of psychotherapy, let me tell you, with so many counseling sessions with I've heard every story on the planet. It all boils down to fixing yourself. So if you want your partnerships and business to work, this also follows the same thing. So now let me ask you another question. How high is your self-esteem, really? Because if you have a very high self-esteem, you'll be able to compliment everyone. But the compliment about you, which one was harder? The compliment about you? Yeah. That means your self-esteem is not as high as it should be. The way in which to increase your self-esteem is very simple. Every day when you wake up in the morning, announce to yourself as you look at yourself that you are powerful, that you are amazing, that you are loved, that you are beautiful. When I wake up in the morning, it's called a hypnopompic and hypnagogic state. You have direct access to your subconscious mind at that point. Turn the music up a bit more. Louder. I'm looking in the mirror with the toothbrush in my hand, and I'm giving myself an affirmation. And I say, I look in your eyes, and I see a paradise. This world that I found, I tell myself, it's just too good to be true. I'm standing here beside you, I tell myself, and I want so much to give you this love in my heart, because only you know how to love yourself. And I tell myself, let them say we were crazy. Until that day, put your hand in my hand, I tell myself, and don't ever look back. The past is the past. Let the world fall around us, because that's what the world does best. But we can make it if we're heart to heart. I've broken several mirrors, by the way. We're standing strong together. Nothing's gonna stop us now. That's what I tell myself every day. And when this world falls down around us, we'll still have each other. Nothing's gonna stop us. Your friends will leave you, your family will leave you, but that one person in the mirror will never, ever leave you. And I say, I'm so glad I found you. I'm never gonna leave you. Whatever it takes, I will stay here with you. I'll take you through the good times, and I'll see you through the worst of times. Whatever it takes, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. And this is what I say to myself every day. Let them say we're crazy. Who cares? What do they know? Look at their miserable lives. You have to work on yourself being happy. You have to work on yourself healing all the pain in the past.